And welcome to the Tom Clark Weekly Speed Report. I'm your host, Tom Clark, along with co-host Corey Carroll and Colton Jacobs. Here to bring you weekly insight on all things NASCAR, with a review of past week's races and a preview of upcoming events on the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series schedule. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at TCW Speed Report. Email your questions to tcwspeedreport@gmail.com. Check out the Tom Clark Weekly Speed Report Facebook page, and check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud. And I would like to welcome my co-host, one and only for this edition, Mr. Colton Jacobs.
Okay, Tom, so don't worry. I tweeted everybody, all of our fans, all the listeners, told them we're a little behind, but don't fret. It will be ready and available on YouTube tomorrow morning. So that's a guarantee. Yep, Wednesday morning, October the 7th.
Okay, because I actually checked Twitter because I was going to put out the same thing, be like, listen, Colton got in a bar fight Friday night.
It was just gruesome.
He just got out of the hospital, so yes, Wednesday morning we'll have this. You'll be listening to this right now. Of course, we're reviewing the AAA 400 at Dover Speedway, but we had a triple header weekend, not necessarily at the same track, but John West Townley earning his first career Camping World Truck Series win at Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was good to see that team get their first win.
Yeah, well, but he reminds me of a Paul Menard in the sense that his dad, I believe, is the founder of Zaxby's.
Is he?
Yes, I actually did the research. His last name is Townley as well.
Oh.
And so him being sponsored by Zaxby's.
I was wondering why he was able to be sponsored by kind of a big chain restaurant for all the races when a lot of trucks they don't even have sponsors.
And I was like, okay. So
makes me want chicken.
You know, Zaxby's makes a good grilled chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I like their salads.
They're very good chicken.
Good.
They're a chicken empire, kind of like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
We move on to the Xfinity Series. Now, Regan Smith won that race.
Yes.
It's good to see him win that race for Junior Motorsports. And another quick announcement for Junior Motorsports, Elliott Sadler moving over to that team officially now.
Yeah, that was a big weekend with that signing. That brings in veteran leadership with Chase moving out. And then him getting the win, it was impressive because he was able to beat Hamlin and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we need to see more of that stuff. And when Elliott is now hopefully with a better team, I'll probably watch more Xfinity races next year.
Yeah,
because I like Elliott, and now that he's driving for hopefully a competitive team, it make it more entertaining at least.
Well, and I know also Junior Motorsports and Josh Berry kind of gave it away in an interview. I can't remember. I think it was at Darlington. They're trying to find a sponsorship for Josh Berry to run full-time next year, I think in the 88. It's either in the 88 or the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So they're wanting to have a 3 to 4 car stable.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy in the Xfinity Series. Of course, we move on to our number one event of the weekend, the AAA 400 at Dover International Speedway. Now, qualifying was rained out. We had that Hurricane Joaquin Phoenix walk the line. Come through and stirred up some stuff. So they only got a couple practices in. Now, how did they started the starting lineup based on points? Actually, right?
Car owner points.
Car owner points. So,
yes.
I think they said Jimmy Johnson would start first, or was it?
It was Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth started first. Okay.
Yeah. It was car points. It's pretty much the chase grid.
Okay. So we get the green flag underway. Now, there really isn't much to review because the situation going in, you had 4 that were going to be eliminated after this race. Kevin Harvick had to win the race to transfer to the next spot, and he did what he needed to do and led 355 of the 400 laps. Now, it was interesting there towards the end. They pitted, and it was about 88 laps to go, and they were pretty sure they could make 86 laps on fuel. And crew chief Rodney Childers came over the radio and said, I'm going to need you to start saving fuel, which I thought, oh, my goodness, it's going to be last week all over again the week before. But Jeb Burton hit the wall they described it on MRN as he just rode the wall off from one.
And that
turn
was
to,
the second accident he had in the day.
So that brought up the caution with about 20 something to go.
It was actually 42.
42 laps to go.
Yep.
So that pretty much, sealed the deal as far as fuel. But we saw Kevin Harvick only take 2 tires, or he took 2 tires on an earlier pit stop and got fuel only or something like that. We saw a couple other guys stay out and take no tires, but I'm guessing that the tires were not a huge issue at this place.
No,
because even the guys with 4 tires couldn't get up there to pass.
And that's surprising at Dover because you got that concrete surface. I mean, they're going really fast for a 1 mile track, but Goodyear really brought a compound. It was a really hard compound, and the guys that stayed out with 2 tires were really able to hold ground. And you saw throughout the race, here and there, you had cars take 2 tires. I remember Truex took 2 tires at one point. Kyle Busch took 2 tires at one point, and they were able to stay in the top 5 easily.
Yeah. Now about at the lap 100 mark, there was a caution, and Jimmy Johnson came down pit road, and boy did the announcers on MRN, I was listening to it on the radio, just blew their heads off about, he took a hard left turn into the garage, which I was excited because, as our listeners know, I don't like Jimmy Johnson. But that doesn't mean I might give him a chance for next year because I won't have anybody to
as a Jeff Gordon fan, you don't like Jimmy Johnson. But
because Jeff Gordon's going to be gone next year, I might have to go to the next best thing,
which is Junior.
Yeah, which we'll get on that later. But apparently a wheel seal or a rear end seal came off and it was leaking fluid, and they ended up 36 laps down.
It was a rear gear seal.
But as everyone thought that maybe it was going to be a done deal for Jimmy Johnson and Junior and McMurray and people like that would advance through, but Junior had to come back during that same set of pit stops. He had to come back and either for a loose wheel or top it off with fuel.
Yeah, he had a loose wheel. They didn't get all the lugs on, and he had to come back. But and that got him back in the pack. And that was about. But that was earlier on in the race. It took him the whole first half to get back up. And it was about the halfway point. He was right back where he started in 12th. It took him that whole time, and he about went a lap down twice. But I think when you look at this race with Dover, I think you look at three major things. Because it was so dominant by Harvick. It was Harvick's dominance and him needing to win. The Jimmy Johnson incident with his seal breaking and him going, I think it was like 36 or 37 laps down. And then the epic battle, I may add, between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jamie McMurray to get that final spot to go into the contender round. I think those were your 3 main storylines for the race.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we saw Kyle Larson stayed out, I believe, and Junior wiggled him up the track and got past him, but McMurray was just still hot on his tail. Now, if McMurray had passed Junior, I believe that would have been enough to get McMurray in.
Yeah, because they finished tied.
They were finishing tied to where Junior was running 3rd, McMurray running 4th. And even though they were tied, Junior would have still got in because of his wins. Well,
they actually said on TV that the tiebreaker's not the wins anymore. It's if you have 2 drivers that are tied at the end of the race in the chase, when in an advancing scenario, it's finishing track position. So because Junior finished 3rd, that's what got it.
Okay. So I've been corrected on that one. But I mean, all in all, I think it was a boring race, especially given the circumstances, especially with Kevin Harvick. No doubt unbelievable and impressive as it was, but you could really sense the urgency, and it's a love-hate thing with Kevin Harvick. I was kind of glad to see him win, but at the same time, I kind of hate that he's going to keep going on for the championship because you've just eliminated 4 people. Now that's 4 people less that he has to worry about,
especially with the 48 being out.
Yes,
and I think Kyle Busch even said after the race that they missed an opportunity on Sunday by letting Kevin Harvick win that race.
Yeah.
They missed it. He said we missed a huge opportunity today.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and listen to Kevin Harvick's post-race audio now.
So much celebration for this race team. And Kevin, what kind of statement did the 4 team and statement did you make this afternoon?
I'm just so proud of everybody from Stewart-Haas Racing to do everything that we've done the last 3 weeks, really. Obviously, we weren't in a great position coming into today. That's what these guys are made of, and that's what teamwork's all about. And just got to thank everybody from Budweiser and Jimmy John's, Chevrolet, 750th win for them, Outback Mobile One, Hunt Brothers, Dytech, everybody who helps us on this car. This is what it's all about, those big-time moments.
You can feel the emotion and hear the emotion in your voice, Kevin. How emotional was it for you behind the wheel in those final few laps?
Well, it's just one of those weekends where the car was really good, and they believed, and that's really what
that's the I believe chant.
Is everybody wins. That's why they're so great.
Is this team better under pressure, Kevin?
I think we're better than we were last year just because of the experiences and things that we've had. So, I think when you look at everything that's gone on over the last couple of years, it's just been a lot of fun. So it's just that never quit attitude. That's what Stewart told me last year when we went to Homestead. He said, whatever you do not quit until they throw that checkered flag.
You told me you like these moments because the reward, if it pays off, is a lot sweeter when you can finally get it. Having survived this, is this team a little bit stronger?
Anytime you can go through moments like this and gain some momentum and prove to yourself that you can do things like this, there's no way you can't be stronger. So I'm just so damn proud of those guys and so proud of our fans and everybody for all the support all week. And this guy,
you got a high five from this guy.
I know. Oh man. So yeah, that's right. There it is. Stay the course. That's what he always says. And it's Tony's just one of those guys that's he always puts everybody before him, and that's really what makes Stewart-Haas what it is. And just a lot of fun to be a part of this team.
They're going to stay the course, and they believe they can win because they did it today here at Dover. Kevin Harvick puts himself into round 2, Rick.
And so you could hear the excitement, just the jubilation by the crew, having the chant, we believe, we believe. Kind of sounds like a cult to me.
Wow.
Like Heaven's Gate or something like that. But, it's very, very good to see Kevin Harvick win. Now, I think Marty Snyder was there in the pits asking Kevin Harvick, how emotional were you? And I didn't think he was that emotional.
No, he sounded like it was, back at Phoenix when he won in March or whatever.
Just almost arrogant. Like
he was like, we got the win.
Yeah, I like situations like this, stuff like that.
Yeah, when you have the badass fast car like you had, of course. If he had a terrible handling car, I'm sure he wouldn't have liked that situation too much.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the running order, or the finishing order of the AAA 400. Of course, Kevin Harvick winning. Kyle Busch finishing second, leading 19 laps. Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings it home with third, started 12th. Jamie McMurray finished fourth. Eric Almirola, what could have been? Again,
I know.
Another strong finish by the 43 car. I believe you better watch out next year, because I think because of what happened this year, and it being the King and them signing on JB Hunt as a new sponsor for Horns Jr., obviously, but will be a primary sponsor. I believe Eric Almirola will be a chaser next year.
I think he will, and I think McMurray will too. Those are two guys, like those two, Menard and Newman, are always those guys that are right on the cusp. But the 43 and the 1 have really shown something, especially Almirola. And I mean, barring any type of weird team dominance like Gibbs has had, I really think they might be able to get him a win.
I think so too. Given the right circumstances, they'll no doubt be a contender next year. We've got Casey Kane finishing sixth, which
why did he wait till now to start running?
I know, he's probably thinking, I've got a few races to go left, and I better go. Matt Kenseth brings it home seventh. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Finished 17th. He must have ate some Nature's Bakery.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's really fuel for the roads, fuel for energy.
Absolutely.
In my case, it's high in fiber, so he might have really needed to go.
He's ready to get done with that race.
Finishing 8th. Kyle Larson, poor Kyle, finishing 9th, and Joey Logano finishing 10th.
You want me to tell you the biggest story of that top 10?
What's that?
Is there's only 2 Gibbs drivers in it.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, you look at that. I mean, you got Kyle in second, but and I want to point something else out with that top 10. The 4 drivers that had to bring their A game today are 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
Harvick and Busch and Earnhardt and McMurray were the ones that were all must win, must finish good, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm telling you, that's why the purse of every race should be like a bunch of money.
Oh, yeah.
Every race, that way you can add that with this pressure. You can
Money.
see great racing all the time.
Oh, my goodness.
My man, Jeff Gordon finishing 12th. Martin Truex Jr., a little disappointment in finishing 11th. And throughout the rest of the field, finishing within the top 20 are the other chasers in the field. Let's go ahead and take a look at our the chase grid. The people that advance to Charlotte, Kansas, and Talladega with the Contender Round?
Yep,
Contender Round.
Yep. It's right down there underneath.
There it is. Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kevin Harvick. And then they'll move on to the Eliminator and then the championship. So now that this first round is over, I think it's really going to start getting really good.
Yeah, and we look at the 4 that missed it: Boyer, Menard, Johnson, and McMurray. Now, if we go back to our Richmond podcast, and we all pretty much agreed that Boyer, Menard would be out.
Yeah.
And we figured a McMurray or a Newman would be out. But I think we all agreed that there was going to be one big name that wasn't one of those 4, like 12th through 16th drivers. Mm-hmm. But who would have thought it would have been Jimmy Johnson?
I was surprised. Even though as excited as I was like, wow, that's...
Because he's not one you expected going into it. You thought it was going to be a junior Kyle Busch or Kevin Harvick. I didn't even think about Jimmy not making it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like if the Patriots, their balls are a little deflated.
Yeah,
kind of like
nobody wants deflated balls.
Yeah, I mean, you've won 3 Super Bowls. What else do you want? Now you're going to cheat to get your 4th. So, I would hope and pray to the racing gods that Jimmy Johnson's reign as a champion is soon to be over. But
I mean, it's over for this season.
Yeah.
So
we got a whole another year to wait before. I mean, even given he won in 2013. Granted, everything was new car, a lot of new different things, and it was kind of like an unsurprising championship that he won. I wasn't really impressed. And then come 2014, he got eliminated. Mm-hmm. I think he got eliminated in the Contender Round, if I'm not mistaken, because he won Texas last year, but still wasn't part of the Final 4 heading into Homestead. I don't believe.
It was Harvick,
Newman,
Logano,
and Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, yes.
Okay.
So I think he got eliminated in the Contender 12 because he won at Texas and was already out. Okay. So he missed the Contender last year, missed the Challenger this year. Hopefully he won't even make the top 16 next year.
He might be your man. So
yeah, you never know. Let's move on to our preview of the Bank of America 500 at our home track, Charlotte Motor Speedway. I wish I could go. Not gonna happen this year.
I really wanted to try and go myself,
and watch Jeff Gordon. I'm gonna wear my lucky Jeff Gordon underwear Saturday night.
You better start wearing those every week.
I know, because I haven't worn them in a few years. So
yeah.
So we've got Charlotte Motor Speedway, a 1.5 mile quad oval, a wickedly fast track. Always has been fast. I don't know if they've sealed the track, but the asphalt's still pretty new looking. It's not bumpy. It's not doesn't have a whole lot of, just real slick and fast. Mm-hmm. With the cooler temperatures that are probably occurred in here in North Carolina, it'll be really grippy. It's a fun race to watch because the weather is different, and fuel mileage doesn't seem to be a problem a whole lot of times. A lot of it is based on track position. You know, where can you start? Where can you put yourself? Tires don't seem to fall off that bad. I feel we'll see a somewhat of a resurgence in the Gibbs Racing camp, maybe even the Penske camp. But a lot of times this race throws people a curveball. Yeah. We've seen Jeff Burton win there, wasn't even in the chase then. Jeff Gordon's won there, didn't expect to win there.
I mean, Casey Mears won a 600 there. Yeah. Back, I think it was 2007.
2007, yeah.
So you weren't expecting Mears to win. McMurray. No, he won the 500, the Bank of America 500 the year he won the Daytona 500.
2011, yeah.
Yeah, in the Indy, in the Brickyard.
Yeah, Brickyard. So it always, sometimes, it's usually that last stretch, that last pit stop, that last fuel run that really just gets set up to where you kind of know who's going to win. It is kind of boring, but you at the same time, they are just booking it because it's a fast track.
Yeah.
It's longer than Texas, and longer in the sense that the straightaways are longer than at Texas and Atlanta. You're in the corner less, but the corners are a lot more sharper radius, so you can really sling it up off the corner and get a good run down the straightaway.
I think that Charlotte is it's a spectator's track.
Yes.
For those that get the ticket and go to Charlotte, you're guaranteed to enjoy the race because it's fast, it's good racing, got the big screen. I mean, they always put on a good show. There's great tailgating, great stuff around. I try to go to Charlotte every year, mostly for the 600, but I always love it.
Yeah. If you want to go to a race, now any race to us will do if you're not a NASCAR fan, but if you live in North Carolina and have never been to a NASCAR race, go to a race at Charlotte, the All-Star race, Coke 600, or the Bank of America 500. It is an absolute treat. Sensory overload, I like to call it. Lots of food. God, they got so much food down there. They got Bojangles booths, which to me is surprisingly expensive. You're like, I know that chicken tender select meal is not $12 and something or another.
Well, I'm guilty, number one, of cooking all my food outside the track and bringing it in a book bag.
You better be careful, so they'll be looking at your
hot dogs, hamburgers, beer, fudge rounds.
Wow. So let's go ahead and move on to our fantasy picks. Seeing that they don't even have the. Oh, that's right. It's so low I can't even see
top,
the.
So
Corey's got 1,042 points. Colton with 930 and me with 705. And man, I even picked Jimmy Johnson last week. Look, maybe I ought to pick him again.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter now. He's out of the chase. Now I need to pick guys that I want to see like fall out. And I'm gonna steal this one from you guys because he's consistent. He's fast every week. Seems to be on the point all the time. Just great driver. I'm gonna pick number 4, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. I was really hoping he would be left, but what was that, Tom?
Oh, it's my bookie. No.
Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll just go on to my pick here.
Okay.
We'll leave your bookie out of it. Well, since you took my number 1 pick, who I think's going to win the race, I'm going to go to my number 2. He's driving for a fast team. He's been fast the whole second half of the year. He's good at Charlotte. He hadn't won a cup race at Charlotte in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick Kyle Busch.
Ooh.
When was the last time he won there?
I don't think he's actually ever won a cup race at Charlotte.
I thought he did.
He is disappointed that he's not won a cup race at
I know
Charlotte.
he hasn't won a 600, but I thought he got a 500.
No. He's pissed. He actually has said, even though he's from Las Vegas, he likes the Charlotte track better than Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think he's going to get it done. He finished second at Dover. Gibbs is fast right now. I think I waffle between he and Matt Kenseth. Because for some reason, all the NASCAR booth guys always like to say, this is a Matt Kenseth type of race. I don't know what a Matt Kenseth...
Yeah, I don't either.
I guess it's like a Wisconsin cheesy type of race.
Yeah. Because usually it's kind of like, oh, he came out of nowhere. Like, what's he doing?
Yeah, so... And unfortunately, since Corey's at training... He hadn't been able to get a hold of him to get his pick, so we'll try and get that at some point.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like it really matters.
Yeah, we might as well pick Matt
DiBenedetto.
Yeah, Matt DiBenedetto or Jeb Burton.
I'm telling you guys, the guys that listen to our podcast, me and Colton have talked about, we're going to revise the point system for next year. There is going to be a chase.
Yeah.
Because this whole me with 705 and Corey with 1,042 is just... It's just
it doesn't make it any fun anymore.
No, because I don't even care anymore. I'll pick Danica Patrick. Hey, speaking of Danica Patrick and female racers, we don't do this series on this podcast, but the Trans Am series. I don't know if you know about the Trans Am series.
A little bit.
It's basically road racing NASCAR style.
Yeah.
They have a chick. Her name is Amy Rule or Amy Brule or Amy something or another. She's not as pretty as Danica. I'll give you that. But man, she's the points leader.
Wow.
Yeah, she can kick them boys' tails. So
that's interesting.
Maybe we need to bring her over. Tart her up a little bit, of course, because like I said, she's not as easy on the eyes as old Danica Patrick. So, but that is something to think about. Now we'll move into some big topics to cover. Things that are on our mind here in the NASCAR world. We are entering what we call silly season, which I don't know why they call it silly season, but it's basically it's like free agent season for other sports, like who's going to go where and what's going to happen. It was announced earlier this week that Tony Stewart will step down from NASCAR Sprint Cup Series competition at the conclusion of the 2016 season. Clint Bowyer will take over that ride in 2017. Meanwhile, Clint Bowyer goes off to H. Scott Motorsports to do 1 year there. Mm-hmm. And Stewart-Haas and Hendrick will provide support to that team for next year. So it's kind of like the whole Casey Kane deal where they put him off on a Red Bull and then waited for him.
Yeah, or Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch, yeah. Put him with Furniture Row before he came to Stewart-Haas. Ultimately, I'm sad that Tony's retiring, but I think it's a good move on his part.
It's time.
He even said he felt, you'll know it's time. Because it was just earlier this year, he said, I don't plan on going anywhere. Now he changes his mind in the same year. So,
yeah.
You could even see in his interview that he was back to himself. It was a load off his chest. But here's the intriguing thing. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be collecting stats, just not in the Sprint Cup Series anymore. Which begs me to wonder if we just talked about this whole Junior Motorsports deal. If he's going to offer himself to run a Junior Motorsports car, or
maybe
because he's got like 6 wins at Daytona in that Nationwide Series.
He may, and it may be a thing where Harvick's kind of had his fill, and Tony might run the 88. Where how Harvick does it, and Tony might go run it, or he might kind of work to upstart Stewart-Haas's Xfinity program,
possibly.
And you can't ever count him out of a sprint car.
Or here's another possibility, which I doubt will happen. I forgot the guy's name, Shohan Bojan or something like that.
I don't have no idea.
Haas is starting in a Formula One team for next season, and they've announced one driver. They need another one. So,
open wheel again?
Open wheel again? Maybe not. I doubt Tony would go that direction, but I just threw that out there as a possibility. Yeah. I don't know if you can even fit in that carbon fiber cockpit. That's a really tight space.
Yeah.
You might have to grease up Tony Stewart's sides before you
an old pig.
A greased up pig, yeah. But either way, it'll give me somebody to pull for next year. I'll automatically, like, he's going to be my guy for next year.
Yeah.
That'll give me some time to ease the hurt of Jeff Gordon not being there.
But then you'll have to deal with your driver you're pulling for retiring.
Again, just year after year. So there's that. We also have not heard a whole lot but it was brought up on a sports podcast, so to speak. This whole NASCAR franchise deal. Something about, I don't know how that's going to work. To me, franchise means the teams buy a piece of NASCAR and get to own it. But basically, they put it to where, guys like Rick Hendrick, Jack Roush, Richard Childress, Joe Gibbs, when it's all said and done, they're not going to have anything left.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of money, one, to run a race team. They're not going to see any return on their investment. So Rob Kaufman and the gang, I guess, have been talking to NASCAR to set up some kind of franchise system. That way, owners can see return on their investment and entice more owners to come into the sport. Like we discussed one time, like what if Dyegard Racing was still running? What an awesome team that was back in the day. Holman and Moody, great team back in the day. Obviously they're just a name now. Junior Johnson Enterprises. Mm-hmm. I mean, all those. Somebody could have bought that team with already equity and value in it and just continued on.
Yeah, and you kind of see a trend right there. And I'm scared for Petty Enterprises or Petty whatever the heck it is. Right
Richard
now.
Petty Motorsports.
Because they just.
But if this thing is implemented next year, you never would have to worry about it.
Yeah,
what they're saying. I don't know what that entails. I don't know how that's going to change the face of the sport, because it's always been guys that have, hey, I got a car and I can put a hot shoe driver in it and run well with it. But so we'll have to wait and see what that all boils down to. Rob Kaufman's up to no good. Oh, one of the biggest things, though, is, NASCAR just signed pretty much their biggest TV deal ever with Fox and NBC and stuff like that. So what that would ensure for the owners is that they get a bigger piece of the pie.
Yeah.
I think someone made a comparison to the NFL. Like, no matter if you lose every single game, you get a certain amount of the TV deal money.
Yeah.
So I think that was the driving force in the whole thing. And maybe like driver pension, after they retire. But we'll just have to check into that and see how that goes. No trivia this week as Corey is off training.
We'll be back next week.
But he'll be back next week. That'll
be
good.
There will be trivia,
laughs,
trivia,
knee
galore.
slapping, all that kind of stuff. Sneaky peeky.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
So let's move on to our green-white-checkered round.
All right, Tom. Well, I will serve you up a dish of green flag question.
Ooh, okay.
Right now, with the Challenger round being over, what if you could pick one moment that was the most pivotal in that round, in the whole round from all three races, from all the drivers? What was the biggest pivotal moment in the first round?
I'm going to say the pivotal moment was Jimmy Johnson's mechanical failure. Mm-hmm. Because if he had run good, and obviously he might have even won the race, that's a lot of big names out of the picture. Possibly, you definitely had Kevin Harvick out, Dale Jr. probably, and then McMurray and whoever else. But instead of getting one, you got a whole bunch. Yeah. But because he had that failure and the way the points worked out, ensured a lot of other guys live to see another day. So I'm going to say that was it.
My pivotal moment is Harvick's dominance and winning Dover, because it's like Kyle Busch said, they missed an opportunity, and I'm telling you now, he was my midseason pick. He's going to win the championship, and he's going to look back to Dover, and he's going to say, just like he did with Phoenix, he had to do it, and he won that championship. He's going to look back to Dover. He's going to say, that's what won me that championship.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, our white flag question, and he's not here to defend himself, but what happened to Corey's early season theory?
it went kaput.
Yeah.
Well, what had happened was we're working on a law of physics.
Let's review the theory for the listeners.
Okay, so earlier on in the season, really early on in the season, Corey's theory was that either Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick,
or the Penske.
a Penske car,
That was it. Would win.
the two Penske cars. So
Yeah.
there's 4 drivers. Only were be the ones that win either, or at first it was every race for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
because that was basically what was
Yeah.
going on. Then it changed to tracks 1.5 miles or larger.
Yeah.
And it was working good there for a while. I mean, it came close to not working because Keselowski won at Fontana, and other things happened. And then it was to every track 1.5 miles longer, except for restrictor plate tracks, because Junior won at Talladega.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just
Come
went.
Sonoma. I've
Yeah,
got it highlighted because before Sonoma, you still had Chevrolets winning. You trickled in like a Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin there, but it was like it was either like a Hendrick engine or a Penske.
Yeah.
But come Sonoma, Joe Gibbs took his big old shiny boot and shoved it up the ass of everyone.
Oh, wow.
Like that is what happened, and I apologize
Big
for my
old
language, but
shiny boot.
yeah,
So we have to go back to the labs, the people working in the labs here at the Speed Report, to come up with a better theory for next year. Now,
yeah.
next year is going to be crazy because they're going to hopefully have that new aero package.
I'm sure Corey will come up with a new theory for everybody and the listeners come our 2016 preview show.
We'll have to ask Mr. Carroll what exactly happened to that theory.
We'll give him a chance to defend it next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend. And our checkered flag question.
All right, Tom, taking the checker off turn 4. We're going to do an early, and we'll give Corey a chance to answer this one next week too. Moving on, our pre-contender round. Who are your 4 drivers out?
Who are my 4 drivers out?
And we got the grid up here.
Some people are not going to like me after this.
All right.
But here are my 4 drivers out. Number 1, Martin Truex Jr. Number 2, Kurt Busch. Number 3, Brad Keselowski. And number 4 will hopefully be, if he doesn't, I'm going to be pissed, Ryan Newman. Because that sucker is just big old sack of turds. God.
Oh man. Any particular reason why those 4 for you?
One, because I think Martin Truex Jr. focused too hard on getting a win to get in the chase. All that steam's run out. Kurt Busch will probably blow his temper at Tony Gibson because he's always out for kidney stones or whatever else he's got going on. He needs to lay off the bologna is what it is.
Fried bologna.
It's fried bologna, that's right. Brad Keselowski, because out of the Penske group, he's performed the least. And Ryan Newman, because, like I said, he's a big old sack of turds. I'm looking for people like Dale Jr. to score a win at Talladega. Yeah. One of the Gibbs cars to score a win at either Charlotte or Kansas. And because I think what they're gonna turn up the wick a couple of those races, and Kevin Harvick won't win a race, but he will transfer to the next round.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my reason.
Even though you picked Harvick to win Charlotte, he's not gonna win and move.
Yeah, even though I picked him. Remember, this is all
you're going for points. That's a points pick.
Yeah, you asked me a different question, so
okay, I got you. Well, I'm on board with you. Newman's my first one out by far. His luck's going to run out because
by God, it better.
He ran like crap at Dover, and if he hadn't lucked up and finished good, was it New Hampshire, Chicago, and one of them he got like a freaking top 5 or something, and that saved him.
Yeah,
because he finished a lap down. And he was 2 laps down at one point. So he's going to be out. He's not going to point his way into home set.
He better not, because I will I will march to Florida.
And so my second one will be Brad. He just doesn't seem But remember last year, this round, he was out unless he won at Talladega and he got the win.
Yes.
But I'm with you. I think Junior gets that win at Talladega. He's just so strong. It's going to have to take the whole field saying, okay, we're going to leave him hanging.
Yeah.
If they can even catch him. Because if Junior's car's like it was at Daytona, they're not even going to catch him.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, Newman and Keselowski. Here's my next one. I think Kurt Busch. I was iffy between him and Truex, but I think Charlotte and Kansas are both good for Truex.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran well there. Led the most laps at Charlotte. Led the most laps at Kansas. I think he'll move through. And here's my surprise. Okay, I'm sticking the fork in Edwards. I think Edwards, because he's been running good, but aside from that Darlington win, that he kind of lucked into that. He wasn't dominant. Yeah. Kansas winning, Hamlin's winning, Kyle Busch was winning and getting top threes. Edwards is the one that kind of falters. He's the wild card of the Gibbs camp, and I think his luck runs out. So I think the 19, the 41, the 2, and the 31.
Do you think though, if Carl Edwards is out moving forward, that he gets to play blocker or gauntlet or whatever you want to call it, wrecking other people out of the way? Or
I think he will make it difficult on the other drivers if it means helping his teammates. But I think at this level right now, I think you have too much respect amongst the drivers and too much pride to do that. That's kind of Bush League, if you ask me. That's amateur hour. If you have your teammate out there like a wrecking ball to try. I think these drivers, the drivers are so close knit these days. Like they hang out with each other. They, every time I see Junior's Twitter, he's like drinking with Truex in his treehouse or something.
Why didn't you invite me, Junior? Me and Colton, we'll drink with you.
Yeah, and he would have fun with us. I'm just going to tell you. But
we probably bring Junior back to his early days.
Yeah, I know. So, but I don't think we'll see any of that. I really don't. If we do, I'll be surprised. Now, if we go back to Phoenix last year, remember coming out of 4 when Newman door slammed the hell out of Larson and pretty much paid him no respect and just was like wham. I think we might see some of that, especially out of Newman, but because he bullies everybody. But none of the teammate stuff. Because the last time anybody did that, it was Michael Walter Racing, and look where they are now.
Yeah, I know. Ryan Newman is like a pinball full of poop.
Yeah,
because he just bounces around everywhere looking for anybody to hit. I can't stand Ryan Newman. I really can't. Like him and Jimmy Johnson can just go be sacks of turds together.
What would you say if they were a guest on the show?
I'd tell him right here, like, listen, I probably wouldn't call him a sack of turds, but I'd be like, Ryan, dude, you used to be the Rocket Man.
Yeah. Why are you beating people up on the track now?
Yeah. Why are you pushing your way around
Yeah, he went from the Rocket Man to the Enforcer.
Yeah, like the security guard.
His meaty shoulders.
Yeah, the security guard at the pharmaceutical plant. Hey, you can't be there.
Get put that hand back.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'd be like, Jimmy, you're not doing good enough to give me a reason to hate you anymore.
You'd be like, where's your pitchfork and horns? Yeah,
that and you need to win enough to where I can hate you because right now I can't hate you because you just something happened to your car.
Everybody hates Gibbs cars right now.
Yeah, so
Harvick.
You need to be getting out of the car and just only slinging your Gatorade once and waving to everybody you usually do. And
Junior right now or Jeff Gordon are probably the only two drivers that could win every race and nobody would the majority of the people would not be upset or hate them. You would if you had anybody take Logano, if he was out there winning every week like Kyle Busch was, everybody'd be like, off with his head,
Yeah. The Queen said.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see. And you know what I just noticed, Tom, and to end on a light note here, your Eastbrook High School bus driving badge, you're wearing the same shirt right now.
I know.
And I've been trying not to laugh the whole show.
You've done a very good job.
Yeah, because I saw that.
Very good job.
I was like, you're wearing the same shirt as you are in that badge.
It's my bus driver uniform. Yeah, I noticed that too, but I'm proud of you because you've not left. And this is the same pants, same watch.
And I've been sitting here. Did you take the picture today?
No, it was a couple months ago.
I've been sitting here trying not to laugh. When you were going off on tangents and I'd start looking at that, I'd be like...
Started to think about Nature's Bakery, huh? It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, you guys should go out, get a box, indulge in nature's bounty.
Nature's bounty of bakery goodness.
Yeah.
Again, I've only tried their strawberry flavor, but like the way that I am, once I try something and I like it, it's hard pressed for me to try anything else.
Yeah.
Because you just got Old Faithful. Like I couldn't betray you, strawberry.
Absolutely not.
So, that concludes this edition of the Tom Clark Weekly Speed Report. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at TCW Speed Report. Email your questions to tcwspeedreport@gmail.com. Check out the Tom Clark Weekly Speed Report Facebook page, and check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud. And this is your host, Tom Clark, signing out.